Redistricting, apportionment, reapportionment, and gerrymandering. What? We're going to talk a little bit about what apportionment actually is. And as you can see, this is taken from dictionary.com, and it says apportionment is the determination of the number of members of the House of Representatives according to the proportion of the population of each state to the total population of the United States, or an allotment or in proper shares. Well, just think of this portion. What's a portion? It's like a piece of something. So essentially, what apportionment is how do we take those 435 seats and divide them up? And so it's going to be based upon the population of each state. So states that have high level of population, they're going to get more representatives. States that have a lower population are going to get fewer. Now understand this, everybody's guaranteed at least one. So like I mentioned before, if you are North Dakota or South Dakota, you're at least going to get one, no matter how small your population is. So, and there's a video on apportionment by the Census Bureau that follows this that you need to take a look at that kind of explains it in a pretty easy way, I think. All right, so let's look at this is from the 2010 census. Now, all apportionment is based upon the census, so it happens every 10 years. So every 10 years, the Census Bureau, they determine the total population in each state, and then it's divided up. So as you can see, like for example, Indiana has 9. States around us like Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, don't worry about the colors right now, but you can kind of make you can make an assumption that states with higher numbers, those are the states that have higher populations. So, of course, the state that has the highest population, California, which is just over 30 million people, they have 53 representatives. States like North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming all only have one. Vermont as well has one. The next largest, Texas, 36. Then there's Florida. Then there's New York. And then we have a whole bunch of like mid-range states. So now, as we begin to look at this, what happens is every 10 years, these numbers shift based upon population. So if we were to look at this in 2000, okay, so this is the change from 2000. So states like Texas gained 4 seats from 2000 to 2010. States in this kind of darker peach color, like Florida, they gained 2 seats. The lighter peach, 1 seat. States in the white had no change, so you'll see Indiana did not change. So does that mean we stayed the same? No, we probably gained, but we gained at a rate relative to the rest of the country. Now, states that lost seats include the light blue, and you can notice around Indiana, states are really losing population. Now, where are people moving to? So there's 2 different places people are moving from and where they're moving to. So we have kind of the Northeast, and they're moving south, southwest, sorry about the arrows, and west. And the same can be said for the Midwest as well. So we get this right along the Great Lakes region is where we're really seeing people moving from the Northeast. And to be honest, the cold, nasty winters that we've been having, of course, people are going to be moving down to the warmer areas. Kind of interesting, though, that Louisiana is actually losing seats as well. But as a country, we are moving westward, southwestward, and southern or south. Moving on. So this just kind of shows from 2000 to 2010 the movement. We just kind of talked about that. Here's some expected shifts, and this is what's kind of interesting. So this is how our Congress is actually beginning to change a little bit. You'll notice that the Northeast and the Midwest, they're expected to lose about 29 seats. Now, what does it mean then? Well, it means that the South or the southern states are going to gain power, so they're going to increase about 17 seats. The West is projected to increase by 12 seats. So we're going to really see a fundamental shift in representation. You know, some of the other explanations might be migration from Mexico and from Central and South America, and so they're going to populate the states on the southern border. So we can see that as being a trend as well. Now, we also have this idea of gerrymandering. Okay, and gerrymandering, as you can see, is a term that describes the deliberate rearrangement of boundaries of congressional districts to influence the outcome of elections. And here's the interesting thing, that the Constitution states that each state controls how its districts are created and drawn. So really what that means is that, for example, the state of Indiana, it determines, and what in particular determines that? The Indiana General Assembly. So if I were to go Indiana General Assembly, that is our legislative body in Indiana, and they are the ones that draw the lines. Now, who controls the Indiana General Assembly? What party? The Republicans do. And because the Republicans control the assembly, they get to draw the lines that best fit what they want. So we can see here that when it says, it describes the deliberate means with intent, rearrangement of the boundaries of congressional districts to influence the outcomes of elections. Well, here's the Illinois 4th district. This can show you just how bad or how badly a district can be drawn. Now, why would they do that? We'll talk about that here in a second. But let's look at Indiana from 2000 to 2010. Okay, and what we get here is, let me actually extend this out a little bit, sorry. So what we get here is this. So in 2000, Indiana, these were the districts in 2000. And what we had was a 5-4 breakdown. We had Democratic districts in majority. Let me go ahead and, so this one, so we had a Democrat, we had a Democrat, we had a Democratic, we had a Democratic, and we had a Democratic. Well, so and then through the central part of the state, we had Republican districts. So what happens then if we look at Indiana in 2010, what we see is the Republicans redrew these lines, and they redrew them for their own benefit. And so let's look at it. So if you look at District 1, so what we tend to see is that Democrats tend to live in big cities, and Gary's up here. Well, notice how all the Democrats were kind of packed into Gary. The second district then kind of pulled some of those Democratic voters, but it also kind of moved into some other Republican territories. So now what we get is a 7-2 ratio, and really I should have drawn these. I should do this. Sorry. These guys should be red, and this one should be blue, and that kind of tells you a little bit. So what we get here is this. Now we have Democratic, and the rest are all Republican. So Republican, whereas traditionally we had Republican or Democratic districts, now you can see like District 3 kind of goes into a strong Republican area. So we're Republican, 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 Republican. So Democrats only make up 2 of our representatives now in the state of Indiana. I think where you see gerrymandering the most is, let's look at this. So we have District 8 and District 9, Republican and Democrat. And this District 9 has really been fought over a lot between Republicans and Democrats. But what they did was they split it up. Notice this Democratic district then kind of got swallowed up by 3 Republican districts. So where did gerrymandering come from? It actually originated in 1812. Massachusetts Governor Elbridge Gerry, he's the first one who kind of took advantage of the wording in the Constitution. So it's been around for a long time. Now, how do you do it? There's 2 different ways you can do it. So if you look at this, we actually have equal number of blue dots and red dots within each box. So they're absolutely equal. But you'll notice like how they're presented. Blue tends to be centered in the middle and on the edges, and the red tends to be towards, kind of the outline areas. So the first thing you can do is you can do what's called packing. Packing is where you pack in like all one party into one district, and then that kind of takes away their power in other districts, right? If you look over, and this would be a democratically controlled. If I wanted to make it Republican controlled, what I do is I crack it. And cracking is where I diffuse it, where I kind of have enough Democrats in there, blue dots, in each one, but just not a majority. So here is a Democratic one, but here are 3 Republicans. And notice all they're doing is kind of redrawing the lines to fit what best kind of is going to get them what they want, them being the parties. How has Congress regulated redistricting? There was a law passed in 1967 that basically said all representatives must be elected from single member districts. We learned that earlier. Single member means if this is a district, only 1 representative can come from that district. If we're doing a really poor look at Indiana, at large means if we had 9, they would just choose 9 representatives from anywhere. But single member means if we're going to divvy up into separate districts, then we have to have 1, 1, 1, 1. You get the idea. So that hopefully gives you a little bit better understanding of gerrymandering. If you have any questions, let me know.